Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Coming up in the next hour. India rejects Pakistan Army's accusation of Waziristan attack, says the statement deserves contempt. IDF says it eliminated Hamas co-founder and October 7 massacre mastermind Mohammad Issa al-Issa in strike, vows to eliminate all terrorists involved in 2023 attack. In Serbia, protests erupt in Belgrade over call for snap elections. Protesters demand end to President Vucic's 12-year rule. Government says foreign powers behind protest. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to share his thoughts with the people of the country and abroad in monthly radio program Mann Ki Baat on All India Radio. And in sports, Smriti Mandhana's record century leads India to 97-run win over England in opening match of Women's T20I in Nottingham. India's External Affairs Ministry strongly rejected the Pakistani Army's claim of India's involvement in the Waziristan attack on June 28. The Ministry of External Affairs condemned the accusation. India's External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Randhir Jaiswal stated, and I quote him here, "We reject this statement with the contempt it deserves." On Saturday, a suicide bomb attack in Pakistan's North Waziristan district of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province killed 16 troops and injured over 24 people, including civilians. The attack was claimed by a suicide bomber wing of Hafiz Gul Bahadur faction, a group affiliated with the Pakistani Taliban. Prime Minister Narendra Modi had an inspiring conversation with Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla as the astronaut continued his mission aboard the International Space Station. The conversation offered a rare glimpse into the life and work of an Indian astronaut in space and underscored India's growing role in global space exploration.
आप तो मुझे भली भांति जानते हैं, जब भी किसी से बात होती है तो मैं होमवर्क जरूर देता हूं। हमें मिशन गगनयान को आगे बढ़ाना है, हमें अपना खुद का स्पेस स्टेशन बनाना है और चंद्रमा पर भारतीय एस्ट्रोनॉट की लैंडिंग भी करानी है। इन सारे मिशंस में आपके अनुभव बहुत काम आने वाले हैं। मुझे विश्वास है आप वहां अपने अनुभवों को जरूर रिकॉर्ड कर रहे होंगे।
जी प्रधानमंत्री जी, बिल्कुल ये पूरा मिशन की ट्रेनिंग लेने के दौरान और एक्सपीरियंस करने के दौरान जो मुझे लेसन्स मिले हैं, जो मुझे सीख मिली है, वो सब एक स्पॉन्ज की तरह मैं एब्जॉर्ब कर रहा हूँ और मुझे यकीन है कि ये सारी चीज़ें बहुत वैल्यूएबल प्रूव होंगी, बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट होंगी हमारे लिए जब मैं वापस आऊँगा और हम इन्हें इफेक्टिवली अपने मिशंस में इनके लेसन्स अप्लाई कर सकेंगे।
And talking to Shubhanshu, Prime Minister Modi said that his journey had inspired a new interest in science among the youth and children of the country, and their passion for space exploration had grown.
देश के बच्चों में, युवाओं में विज्ञान को लेकर एक नई रुचि पैदा हुई। अंतरिक्ष को एक्सप्लोर करने का जज्बा बढ़ा। अब आपकी ये ऐतिहासिक यात्रा उस संकल्प को और मजबूती दे रही है। आज बच्चे सिर्फ आसमान नहीं देखते, वे यह सोचते हैं मैं भी वहां पहुंच सकता हूं। यही सोच, यही भावना हमारे भविष्य के स्पेस मिशंस की असली बुनियाद है।
Shubhanshu also echoed the Prime Minister's encouragement through his space journey, saying that this is a journey for the entire country.
कहीं ना कहीं बहुत सारी चीज़ें ऐसी हो रही हैं जो दर्शाती हैं कि मैं और मेरे जैसे बहुत सारे लोग हमारे देश में और हमारा भारत किस दिशा में जा रहा है। ये जो मेरी यात्रा है, ये पृथ्वी से ऑर्बिट की 400 किलोमीटर तक की जो छोटी सी यात्रा है, ये सिर्फ मेरी नहीं है, मुझे लगता है कहीं ना कहीं हमारे देश की भी यात्रा है।
Prime Minister Modi will share his thoughts with the people of the country and abroad in Mann Ki Baat program on All India Radio at 11 a.m. Indian Standard Time on Sunday. It will be 123rd episode of the monthly radio program. The program will be broadcast across the entire All India and Doordarshan network, the AIR news website and the News on Air mobile application. It will also be live streamed on the YouTube channels of AIR News, DD News, the PMO and the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. And the Indo-French joint military exercise Shakti 8 is underway at Camp Larzac in southern France, bringing together 90 personnel from the Indian Army's Jammu and Kashmir Rifles Battalion and the French Army's 13E Demi Brigade de Legion Artranzaire. The joint exercise strengthens operational interoperability and mutual cooperation between the Indian and French armies and encompasses a wide spectrum of mission-specific drills tailored to sub-conventional warfare. A key highlight of the engagement was the successful conduct of a high-intensity 96-hour joint field exercise simulating multi-domain operations under sustained high-pressure conditions. The exercise boosts India-France strategic partnership, enhances tactical and technical synergy and contributes to regional security. And the India Met Department has forecast intense rain across many regions until July 4. According to the forecast, Uttarakhand and Uttar Pradesh may witness extremely heavy rainfall on June 30th, while Konkan, Goa, Gujarat and Madhya Maharashtra are likely to see heavy rain throughout the week. Weather changes are expected in cities like Dehradun and Haridwar, with rainfall likely to large parts of Uttarakhand. From Ghaziabad in the west to Varanasi in the east, Uttar Pradesh is expected to receive moderate to heavy rain at least until July 4th. Now, heavy downpours with possible thunderstorms are predicted in Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and the eastern states of Odisha and Bihar. Kerala and Tamil Nadu are likely to receive isolated heavy rain accompanied by strong winds. Plains of Assam and Tamil Nadu may experience hot and humid weather from June 28th to 30th. Isolated parts of the coastal regions, including Maharashtra's Konkan belt, the Western Ghats and the state of Goa, are expected to receive heavy to very heavy rainfall over the next 7 days. A sudden cloud burst near Paligarh Silai Band in the Barkot Tehsil of Uttarkashi district of North Indian state of Uttarakhand on 28 June around 2:12 p.m. caused major havoc. Out of 19 labourers staying at the site, 8 to 9 have gone missing, while 10 have been rescued and shifted to safety. Rescue operations by SDRF and other teams are ongoing. The Yamunotri National Highway has been blocked in multiple areas and partially washed out near Silai Band, though authorities have made it operational. Road clearance work is underway in Kuthnor village. Heavy rainfall damaged agricultural land, but no loss of life or livestock has been reported. Authorities are closely monitoring developments and relief efforts are in full swing. And due to heavy rain alert for the next 24 hours issued by the India Met Department, the Char Dham Yatra in Uttarakhand has been suspended. Garhwal Division Commissioner Vinay Shankar Pandey has instructed police and administrative officials to halt pilgrims in Haridwar, Rishikesh, Srinagar, Rudraprayag, Sonprayag and Vikasnagar. The Char Dham Yatra will remain suspended for the next 24 hours in light of the weather warning. The government of Central Indian state of Madhya Pradesh on Saturday suspended 7 engineers, including 2 chief engineers of the Public Works Department, for the faulty design of the new rail overbridge in Bhopal's Ashbagh area with an unusual 90-degree turn. The action was taken on the basis of an inquiry ordered by the State Chief Minister. Apart from the suspension of the 7 accused, a departmental inquiry will also be conducted against a retired superintendent engineer. The construction agency and design consultant have been blacklisted and a committee has been formed to make necessary improvements in the rail overbridge. Now, National Statistics Day, celebrated on 29 June, pays homage to Professor Prashant Chandra Mahalnobis, a pioneer in statistics and economic planning. and aims to raise public awareness, particularly among the younger generation, about the role of statistics in socio-economic planning and policy formulation for national development. Here's a report.
Every year on the 29th of June, India celebrates National Statistics Day. This day commemorates the birth anniversary of Prasar Chandra Mahalanobis, a visionary thinker, a pioneering statistician, and a father of the modern statistics in India. It is observed to acknowledge the contribution of Indian statisticians and promote statistics as an essential field of study. P.C. Mahalanobis was born on June 29, 1893 in Kolkata. He is best known for developing Mahalanobis distance, a statistical method widely used in population studies and multivariate analysis. This concept measures the distance between a data point and the center of a distribution while accounting for the correlation between the different variables, a groundbreaking advancement in the statistical science. Beyond academics, Mahalanobis played a crucial role in shaping India's development path. In 1951, he became a founding member of Independent India's first Planning Commission. As a planner, he proposed the two-sector model for the industrial growth, which became the foundation of the second five-year plan between 1956 and 61. This model, known as Mahalanobis model, accelerated India's industrialization. In recognition of his immense contributions, he was honored with the Padma Vibhushan, India's second highest civilian award, in 1968. In 1931, P.C. Mahalanobis also founded the Indian Statistical Institute in Kolkata, which has now 10 branches across India, including in Delhi, Bengaluru, Hyderabad, Pune, Chennai, Coimbatore, and Girit, dedicated to the advanced statistical education and research. The first National Statistics Day was observed on June 29, 2007, with the aim to honor P.C. Mahalanobis' legacy and recognize the role of statistics in policy making and daily life. Statistics as a branch of mathematics deals with the collection, presentation, classification, and interpretation of data. It helps government and organizations design accurate, data-driven policies that are grounded in evidence and clarity. In 2025, India is celebrating the 19th National Statistics Day. This celebration is not just about history, it is a call to action for the next generation of thinkers, analysts, and changemakers to take forward P.C. Mahalanobis' vision of using statistics to empower progress, precision, and planning in every corner of the society.
And today is the third day of Lord Jagannath's Rath Yatra in the Puri region of Odisha. Jagannath Rath Yatra began on June 27 and will conclude on July 8. On this day, Lord Jagannath, Balbhadra and Subhadra continued their spiritual journey in their chariots through Puri's Grand Road. Today, the Lord will enter the temple of Mother Gundicha. Lakhs of devotees from across the country and abroad are visiting to have a glimpse of Lord Jagannath and receive his blessings. One foreign devotee shared his joy at being in Puri, calling Lord Jagannath as the Lord of the universe.
Very happy to be here and have darshan of Lord Jagannath. He's the Lord of the universe. Kadachit kalindi tatavipina sangi takaravo. But he's also the Lord of Vrindavan. Lord Jagannath is the Lord of the universe. Jagannath Ankara Icha. Whatever he desires, we should accept his desire.
All right, we'll try to show you the live visuals from Puri, Odisha, where the third day of the Rath Yatra is going, and Lord Jagannath will enter the Gundicha temple today. We'll get you updated on this, but still to come on this edition of DD India News Hour. Donald Trump slams Israel's prosecutors over Benjamin Netanyahu's trial. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio condemns Iran's demand to arrest IAEA chief, calls for inspector safety.
Can the US launch a bombing campaign against Iran. The Philippines vessel suffered structural damage. The saga of child sexual abuse is the United States China's debt trap strategy. Truth is stranger than fiction. But sometimes hard to uncover. Trust us to tell the truth, unadulterated and pure, of every story that matters to you. You read between the lines, cut the clutter, and connect the dots to get you the full picture. Watch Connecting the Dots at these times with me, only on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Some more stories. The Israeli Defense Forces and the Israel Securities Authority has claimed to kill Hamas co-founder Mohammed Isa al-Isa in a strike in Gaza City on Friday. IDF spokesperson confirmed that al-Isa was killed in the strike along with his wife and grandson in the area of Sabra within the city. The Israeli military described al-Isa as a senior figure in the militant group's military wing and said he was considered a founder of both Hamas itself and Hamas's military wing. At the time of his death, he was serving as head of his combat support headquarters. Al-Isa was also a member of Hamas's General Security Council. The IDF said al-Isa played a significant role in the planning and execution of the October 7th massacre. More than 1,200 people were killed when Hamas attacked Israel on October 7, 2023 and took more than 250 people hostage. US President Donald Trump on Saturday criticized Israel's prosecutors over an ongoing corruption trial against Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, saying that the judicial process was going to interfere with Netanyahu's ability to conduct talks with both Hamas and Iran. In a post on Truth Social, Trump also stated that given the billions of dollars worth of military aid US was providing to Israel, it was not going to stand for this. Netanyahu was indicted in 2019 in Israel on charges of bribery, fraud and breach of trust, all which he denies. The trial began in 2020 and involves 3 criminal cases. And thousands of demonstrators rallied in Israel's Tel Aviv on Saturday to demand that the government secure the release of 49 hostages still held in Gaza. Protesters waved Israeli flags, chanted and carried posters with photos of the hostages still held in Gaza since October 7. It was the first rally by hostages' relatives since Israel agreed a ceasefire with Iran on June 24 after a 12-day conflict, raising hopes that the truce would lend momentum to efforts to end the Gaza conflict and bring the hostages home.
I believe and I feel that now it's the momentum. Now we have the opportunity to finish the war in Gaza and to bring Nimrod, my son, and the whole of the hostages that are still in hell of Gaza. After we finish the war with Iran, we deal with Hezbollah. There is no threats and nothing is happening in Gaza. It's only a risk of the hostages and our soldiers. So it's the time the majority of the population demand to finish the war and bring all the hostages back home. And I believe now it's safe for our Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, to do the right thing, to save lives, to bring them all back home.
I'm hoping now to the end of the Gaza war, because there is nothing that can more happen there. We just need our kidnapped back, the 50 people over there. There is no really new aims in the Gaza Strip, and the government has to stop the war there.
U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has denounced calls in Iran for the arrest and execution of International Atomic Energy Agency Director General Rafael Grossi, describing them as unacceptable and calling for international condemnation. In a post on social media platform X, Rubio said, and I quote him here, "We support the IAEA's critical verification and monitoring efforts in Iran and commend the Director General and the IAEA for the dedication and professionalism. We call on Iran to provide for the safety and security of IAEA personnel," unquote. His statement comes amid escalating tensions following Israeli and US strikes on Iranian nuclear sites. Iran's parliament recently approved a bill to suspend cooperation with the IAEA unless its nuclear facilities are guaranteed protection. Meanwhile, UN nuclear watchdog chief Rafael Grossi said Iran likely will be able to begin to produce enriched uranium in a matter of months, despite damage to several nuclear facilities from US and Israeli attacks. Israel launched a bombing campaign on Iranian nuclear and military sites on June 13, saying it was aimed at keeping Iran from developing a nuclear weapon, an ambition the Islamic Republic has consistently denied. The United States subsequently bombed 3 key facilities used for Tehran's atomic program. And clashes erupted between police and protesters in Serbia's capital Belgrade during anti-government demonstrations demanding snap elections and an end to President Alexander Vucic's 12-year rule. Organized by students, around 140,000 people gathered and observed a commemorative silence at the protest. In a counter-move, police deployed scores of officers in riot gear around government buildings and parliament. Months of protest, including university shutdowns, have shaken Vucic, a populist whose second term ends in 2027 when parliamentary elections are due. Last week, Vucic said unspecified foreign powers were behind the protest. He added that police should be restrained but warned that violence will not be tolerated in the country. Meanwhile, opponents accuse him and his allies of links to organized crime, violence against rivals and curbing media freedom. Charges they deny. The unrest began last December after 16 people died in a roof collapse at Novi Sad railway station on November 1st, with protesters blaming corruption for the disaster. All right, so clashes erupted between police and protesters in Serbia's capital, Belgrade. You can see in the visuals scores of protesters there on the streets, and you can see police and the protesters, they clash with each other during anti-government demonstrations demanding snap elections and an end to President Alexander Vucic's 12-year rule. Organized by students, around 140,000 people gathered and observed a commemorative silence at the protest. So these are the Serbian students holding anti-government rally. All right, we'll get you updates on that. Moving on, hundreds of people protested in Portugal's capital Lisbon against the worsening housing crisis. They are demanding rent controls and an extension of rental contract durations to 10 years. Protesters said Prime Minister Luis Montenegro, whose government was re-elected in May, had pledged to prioritize. However, that argue that the measures recently announced are inadequate, sparking fresh mobilization by housing right groups in the city. And hundreds of protesters marched through the streets of Venice against the 3-day wedding of Amazon tycoon Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez. The wedding angered many Venetians, with some activists protesting it as an exploitation of the city. Protesters also condemned mass tourism, high housing cost, and the constant threat of climate-induced flooding. And thousands of anti-government protesters gathered in Thailand's capital demanding Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatre's resignation over a leaked phone call with former Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Sen. Demonstrators took to the streets on Saturday, outraged by a June 15 conversation in which Paetongtarn urged Hun Sen not to listen to the other side in Thailand. The army commander was in charge of an area where a border clash last month led to one Cambodian soldier being killed. The man was killed on May 28 following an armed confrontation in a contested area. The leaked phone call with Hun Sen was at the heart of Saturday's protest and has set off a string of investigations in Thailand that could lead to Paetongtarn's removal. The second largest party in South Africa's coalition government, the Democratic Alliance, said it is not scared to walk away from the coalition. At a press conference in Cape Town, DA Federal Council Chairperson Helen Zille said that they are not afraid to go for the nuclear option. South Africa's Democratic Alliance Party has withdrawn from a national dialogue but stopped short of leaving the coalition government after President Cyril Ramaphosa fired one of his deputy ministers. The national dialogue is a process launched by Ramaphosa to unite the country after last year's election, which saw his African National Congress lose its parliamentary majority for the first time in 3 decades, forcing it to team up with the DA to form a government. Now, Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo have signed a US brokered peace agreement. Rwanda has agreed to withdraw its troops from eastern Congo. This report has the details.
Agreement on Friday, raising hopes for an end to fighting that has killed thousands and displaced hundreds of thousands. The deal was signed by the foreign ministers of the 2 neighboring nations in Washington, D.C., in the presence of U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio.
With the continued support of the United States and other partners, we believe that a turning point has been reached. Rwanda stands ready to work with the DRC to deliver on our joint commitments.
These are not just words on paper. They must now be translated into action with justice, accountability, and political will. This peace agreement is the starting point, not the end goal.
US President Donald Trump hailed the agreement, which aims to attract billions of dollars of Western investment to eastern Congo, which is rich in minerals like copper, lithium, and gold.
And this is a long time waiting, the signing of a historic peace agreement between the Democratic Republic of the Congo and the Republic of Rwanda.
Global leaders also welcomed the deal, with French President Emmanuel Macron saying that it was a historic step forward after decades of suffering, while UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres called it a significant step towards de-escalation. As per the deal, the 2 sides have pledged to implement a 2024 agreement that would see Rwandan troops withdraw from eastern Congo within 90 days. The 2 countries will also launch a regional economic integration framework within the same time frame. Rwanda has sent at least 7,000 soldiers to DR Congo. According to DR Congo and UN, the troops have been sent to support M23 rebels who seized eastern Congo's 2 largest cities and lucrative mining areas in a lightning advance earlier this year. Rwanda has denied helping M23, saying its forces are acting in self-defense against Congo's army and Hutu militiamen linked to the 1994 Rwandan genocide. Rwanda and DR Congo are also holding separate talks in Doha. Bureau Report, DD India.
Still to come on this edition of DD India News Hour. Trump's sweeping tax cuts spending bill clears first US Senate hurdle. Europe swelters in summer's first heat wave as climate change intensifies. And France imposes smoking ban on beaches and parks.
Jharkhand will mesmerize you with majestic nature, rich heritage and colorful culture.
Johar. Johar. It fits perfectly.
Thank you.
Full workout हो गया.
Ready?
Postcards from Jharkhand on National Geographic.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Recap of our top stories. India rejects Pakistan Army's accusation of Waziristan attack, says the statement deserves contempt. IDF says it eliminated Hamas co-founder and October 7 massacre mastermind Mohammad Isa al-Isa in strike, vows to eliminate all terrorists involved in 2023 attack. In Serbia, protests erupt in Belgrade over call for snap elections. Protesters demand end to President Vucic's 12-year rule. Government says foreign powers behind the protest. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to share his thoughts with the people of the country and abroad in monthly radio program Mann Ki Baat on All India Radio. And in sports, Smriti Mandhana's record century leads India to 97-run win over England in opening match of Women's T20I in Nottingham. The Republican-controlled US Senate advanced President Donald Trump's sweeping tax cut and spending bill in a key procedural vote on Saturday, raising the odds that lawmakers will be able to pass the legislation in the coming days. The US Senate on Saturday voted during a rare Saturday evening session. The Senate has removed a controversial provision from its mega bill that would have sold off hundreds of thousands of acres of public lands. The voting came to a standstill and Vice President J.D. Vance arrived at the Capitol to break a potential tie. Senators hurtled in negotiations for more than an hour. Several Republican senators registered their opposition to proceeding to open debate on the bill. That 940-page bill was released shortly before midnight Friday, and senators are expected to grind through the days ahead with all-night debate and amendments. If the Senate is able to pass the bill, it would need to return to the House for a final round of votes before it could reach the White House. And US President Donald Trump announced a significant victory in the Senate with the passage of the Great Big Beautiful Bill. Trump said the victory in the Senate would have happened without the work of Senator Rick Scott, Senator Mike Lee, Senator Ron Johnson and Senator Cynthia Lummis. Earlier, billionaire Elon Musk on Saturday criticized the latest version of Trump's tax and spending bill released by the Senate. He called the bill utterly insane and destructive as the voting on the Senate draft of the tax and spending bill was underway. Taking to X, Musk warned that this bill would cause immense strategic harm to our country. He added that it gives handouts to industries of the past while severely damaging industries of the future. And the United States and the group of 7 nations have agreed to support a proposal that would exempt US companies from some components of an existing global agreement. The G7 said in a statement that the group has created a side-by-side system in response to the US administration agreeing to scrap the Section 899 retaliatory tax proposal from Trump's tax and spending bill. The agreement was reached in part due to recently proposed changes to the US international tax system included in Trump's signature domestic policy bill, which is still being debated in Congress. The G7 said the plan recognizes existing US minimum tax laws and aims to bring more stability to the international tax system. UK businesses are also spared higher taxes after the removal of Section 899 from President Donald Trump's tax and spending bill. Now, US President Donald Trump has said that he has put an end to trade talks with Canada and will soon announce a new tariff rate for that country. Trump's action comes ahead of Canada's plans to begin collecting on Monday a previously enacted digital services tax on US technology firms, including Amazon, Meta, Alphabet, Google and Apple, among others. Trump administration's abrupt decision came as the neighboring nations were working to agree a trade deal by mid-July. DD India's Raghav Kumar Jha has filed this report.
Trump abruptly cut off trade talks with Canada on Friday over its tax targeting US technology firms, saying it was a blatant attack and that he would set a new tariff rate on Canadian goods within the next week. Trump wrote on his Truth Social platform, and I quote, "Based on this egregious tax, we are hereby terminating all discussions on trade with Canada effective immediately." Trump was referring to Canada's 3% digital services tax, which was enacted last year and forecast to bring in $4.2 billion over 5 years. US service providers will be on the hook for a multi-billion-dollar payment in Canada from June 30. It has been a sticking point in Canada's relationship with the US since the law was enacted last year. The 3% tax applies to larger multinational companies such as Amazon, Alphabet, Meta, Apple, and Google that provide digital services to Canadians. Business groups estimate it will cost American companies more than $2 billion a year. The move plunges US-Canada relations back into chaos after a period of relative calm that included a cordial G7 meeting in mid-June where Trump and Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney agreed to wrap up a new economic agreement within 30 days. Responding to Trump's announcement, Canadian PM Mark Carney said his government will continue to engage in these complex negotiations with the United States in the best interests of Canadian workers and businesses.
We'll continue to conduct these complex negotiations in the best interests of Canadians. It's a negotiation.
Canada is the second largest US trading partner after Mexico and the largest buyer of US exports. It bought $349.4 billion of US goods last year and exported $412.7 billion to the US, according to the US Census Bureau data. Both countries have imposed tariffs on each other's goods after Trump sparked a trade war earlier this year and threatened to annex Canada using economic force. US President's latest move casts doubt on a future deal with Canada, although Trump often uses social media threats to try to gain leverage in talks or speed up negotiations he sees as stalling. Raghav Kumar Jha's report for DD India.
Global weather updates now. Just a week after Hurricane Eric wreaked havoc across its Oaxaca region, Mexico now faces another looming threat. The U.S. National Hurricane Center has issued a tropical storm warning for parts of Mexico's Gulf Coast. According to the NHC, Tropical Depression 2 in Mexico's Bay of Campeche is expected to strengthen into a tropical storm before making landfall along Mexico's Gulf Coast on Sunday night. The system is forecast to bring 3 to 6 inches of rainfall, with isolated areas possibly receiving up to 10 inches across the states of Veracruz and San Luis Potosi. The advisory warns of potential flash flooding and urban inundation from the heavy downpours. And southern Europe is bracing for its first major heat wave of the summer, with temperatures expected to soar across the region. Italy, France, Portugal and Spain are all under heat alerts, with temperatures forecast to reach as high as 42 degrees Celsius in Lisbon and 46 degrees Celsius in parts of Spain. In France's central city of Tours, schools have been closed on Monday and Tuesday in the afternoon. The nearby city of Orleans had already made access to some air-conditioned museums free. 17 cities in Italy and 2/3 of Portugal will be on high alert on Sunday for extreme heat. Outdoor work has been banned in Palermo, Sicily, as has the Liguria region in northern Italy, whereas the past 3 years have been the hottest in Spain's history. Now, Morocco is currently facing an extreme heat wave with temperatures far exceeding seasonal norms. Fueled by a hot and dry Saharan wind known as the Chergui, this scorching air mass is hitting central and southern regions especially hard, prompting health alerts and emergency preparedness measures. A massive wildfire is sweeping across Turkey's northwestern region, affecting dozens of villages and forcing large-scale evacuations. The situation has become dire enough for local officials to declare a state of emergency and establish a crisis center to coordinate relief efforts. An earthquake measuring 5.2 on the Richter scale shook parts of Pakistan early Sunday morning at 3:54 a.m. Indian Standard Time. According to the National Center for Seismology, The quake struck at a depth of 150 km near latitude 30.25 N and longitude 69.82 E. So far, there are no reports of damage or injuries. Notably, Pakistan has been prone to frequent earthquakes due to its location on major fault lines. Now, Brazil opened a new public park in Belém on Friday, June 27, as part of preparations for the upcoming United Nations Climate Change Conference, COP30. The park, located in the Amazonian state of Pará, will serve as a venue for discussions during the global summit scheduled for November 2025. Now, France has officially implemented a major smoking ban with an aim to protect public health, especially children. Under the new law, starting from Sunday, June 29, smoking is now prohibited on beaches, in parks, public gardens, near bus shelters and outside places like libraries, swimming pools and schools. This decision is part of the French government's broader push to reduce tobacco use and shield children from passive smoking. The rule is being imposed 1 week before the beginning of the school holidays in France in a clear bid to immediately protect children from smoke on the beach. Anyone caught violating the new rule will face a fine of 135 euros. Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, Donald Duck and Goofy, more than 30 well-known Disney characters appeared in the opening day celebration parade of Hong Kong Disneyland's 20th anniversary. Featuring 11 floats, the parade lasted for about 30 minutes, consisting of more than 100 performances. To commemorate the 20th anniversary, Disney put up a series of new decorations, including banners featuring their iconic characters. Visitors were drawn by the festivities, with many taking pictures and videos to capture the moment. Disney is optimistic of attracting a wealth of visitors to the park over the summer season. And the India pavilion named Bharat has drawn large crowds at World Expo 2025 in Japan's Osaka. The ISRO pavilion, inspired by India's remarkable achievements in space exploration, features a Chandrayaan zone showcasing the nation's lunar missions and scientific prowess. The global exposition runs until October 13, 2025 under the theme Designing Future Society for Our Lives. Over 160 countries and 9 international organizations are taking part, with around 28 million visitors expected. India's presence has emerged as a symbol of cultural excellence and international collaboration. Still to come on this edition of DD India News Hour. In badminton, Tanvi Sharma to face Biwen Zhang of China in the finals of US Open Badminton, 4th Indian women's singles player to reach a Super 300 plus final. And Seoul hosts a vibrant celebration for the grand finale of Squid Game, attracting around 5,000 fans.
Always welcoming. The vibe of Punjab is larger than life. Warm up to grandeur that's beyond compare. And history that's dotted with tales of bravery. Smiling soul of India, where music, art, cuisine and culture comes together to create an unforgettable impression. Punjab is all set to win your hearts with its unique and colorful extravaganza.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Sports updates now. We'll start with cricket. The India women displayed a stupendous performance in the first T20I match of the series against England, clinching a 97-run victory at Trent Bridge in Nottingham. Smriti Mandhana was named the player of the match following her fiery 112-run knock, helping India power to 210 for 5. During the run chase, England women failed to showcase a performance against the Indian bowling attack. It was Sri Charani's 4-wicket haul that bundled out the host at 113, sealing a 97-run win for the women in blue. Earlier, Smriti Mandhana scripted history, becoming the first Indian woman to score centuries across all international formats with the breathtaking maiden T20I 100 against England at Trent Bridge. The Indian opener reached her maiden T20I ton in 51 balls, which also saw her smack 14 fours and 3 sixes to get to the landmark. Hockey now. 6 pools for the upcoming FIH Hockey Men's Junior World Cup were revealed in a draw ceremony in Lausanne, Switzerland. The Hockey Men's Junior World Cup will be played in Chennai and Madurai from 28th November to 10th December. Germany are the current junior men's world champions, having defeated France 2-1 in the final of the 2023 edition. Defending champions Germany is placed in Pool A, while France is placed in Pool F. Team India is placed in Pool B along with Chile, Pakistan and Switzerland. While in soccer, Bayern Munich will hope to secure a place in the quarterfinals of the Club World Cup when they take on Flamengo on Monday. Vincent Kompany's Bayern finished second in Group C following a defeat to Benfica in the last group stage game. Harry Kane, Joshua Kimmich and Michael Olise will all return to Bayern Munich squad for Monday's clash. On the other hand, Flamengo topped Group D and have lost just one of their last 18 games in League and Cup. Key players like Gerson, Eric Pulga and Jorginho are expected to join the squad ahead of the match. And in badminton, India enjoyed a historic night at the Yonex US Open 2025 on Saturday as young shuttlers Ayush Shetty and Tanvi Sharma reached the men's and women's singles finals of US Open Badminton in Iowa. Ayush produced a stunning comeback to defeat top seed and world number 9 Chu Tien Chen, securing his maiden BWF World Tour final. For the title, Ayush will be up against Canada's Brian Young. Facing Ukraine's Polina Burova, Tanvi clinched the big moments in the semi-final and won the match in straight games 21-14, 21-16 to qualify for her first ever Super 300 final. Tanvi will face top seed Bevin Zhang in women's singles final. And Kylian Mbappe continued his road to recovery as Real Madrid carried on training preparations for the FIFA Club World Cup round of 16 tie. Real Madrid is set to face Juventus on Wednesday in the round of 16 in Miami Gardens. The French forward has not featured in the Club World Cup tournament yet due to acute gastroenteritis. Mbappe missed Real Madrid's game against Al Hilal, Pachuca and RB Salzburg. Real Madrid ended the league stage of the tournament topping Group H. Since we come to the end of the bulletin, but before we go, take a look at the vibrant Squid Game parade in Seoul, featuring the show's iconic symbols from the pink gauze and the Dalgona candy to the giant animatronic doll and the golden piggy bank brimming with prize money. Thousands of fans gathered to celebrate the final season of the global Netflix hit, a series that has become a powerful symbol of South Korea's cultural influence. Well, that's all we have in this edition of DD India News Hour, but do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. From all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India News Hour.